Greetings. How is everybody? So great to be together today. I wanted to pause this week and take a few minutes to ask everyone if you've ever experienced mental gridlock. This usually happens for me when a huge obstacle blocks my path. I have visions of that enormous boulder that fell from a mountain high in the Colorado Rockies in the winter of 2019. That boulder is still exactly where it fell, across a road. They just moved the road. They just decided that too much time and energy and resources would actually be required because that rock is granite, and it fell. And it fell because of a great deal of snow and the way that the mountains move around when the soil starts to expand and contract in freezing temperatures. So I started to think about this. How much time and energy do I waste trying to move a specific boulder from my mental path? I start making plans to move it so everything will be okay again. But how? Actually, that's not really the right answer. Right question, really. I'm going too quickly toward an answer instead of pulling back and finding out why is the rock actually there. So when was the last time that your mind was so full that you weren't even sure if you could name the problem? My tendency is to look for answers anywhere and everywhere as fast as I can. And I can almost hear the gears grinding in reverse as my mind says, I can't absorb anymore. Stop. And there's so many approaches to this particular problem. And I wanted to talk about it today because we all have many different kinds of problems in our lives. Could be in a personal life, could be in a relationship, could be in the business, could be anywhere. So how do we move them? Sometimes we walk away. Now, when I try that one, the reason that it doesn't always work is because then I see new problems. Well, that might not be what I want to do. Now, what I also have a tendency to do, you guys might do this too, is I start to research the issue looking for an answer, and that adds more information to my already tired and crowded mind. Do you have that problem? Tell me in the comments. Sometimes I take a nap. So that could be a great solution depending on the problem, but it's not as much help as I really want it to be. Then there's always the asking someone. Sometimes it just brings in more questions than it does answers. And it makes my mind even more tired. So, what can we do to move that obstacle? Whether you're watching live or on the replay, share your thoughts. What is your best idea for how you, when your mind starts to grind and starts to get too full, what do you do? So this is an old trick that I really wanted to share with you that's absolutely one of my favorites and has been from the time that I really started down the professional path. Wish I had had this trick in college because it would have made more sense in some of the times that I was trying to assimilate the information I was learning from the right side to the left side of my brain. So what I do is I grab something from the desk. This is just a silly little pin, but it moves, it wiggles, it plays. And I have plenty of toys. There's a ball. You can always, it's squishy. You can always strengthen your hands with whatever you can pick up. Sometimes it's a fake little slinky. I don't know if you remember these. These must have been a lot of fun because I found 3 of them today, which is really interesting. You know, they make silly little noises. They click and they sound like a spring, and you can play with them enough mindlessly. What is my mind doing? So I start to actually relax a little bit. Now, most of these came from trade shows, And they always have a business name on the back. And so they have a little bit more of an intent of you actually remembering that business. We never do. We pick them up to play. This one's actually a souvenir from a trip. It actually walks. And they're all a little bit different. Some of them are visual. Now, I don't know how many of you guys actually live at altitude like I do, but when something has water in it, the altitude's not friendly to it. It changes it. It's taken me 3 or 4 days to get this one to actually move again because it was kind of frozen. You can see the air bubble. Now this one looks totally different because it has a whole lot more water or air in it. And the altitude, it used to be kind of about that full on both sides. Yeah, it's not happening anymore. It doesn't like the altitude. So visual ones, silly ones. This one's one of my favorites. It's actually a solar elephant. His ears and trunk move when the sunshine hits him, if I can get it to do it. You can see it. Some of them are actually functional. Some of them are just, they have a weird feel to them. Now, what's the point? Why do we need, this one actually builds a skill, juggling balls. I got these actually in my problem solving class. There's just things that we need movement in our hands. We need something to play with. We need something that distracts from the mental energy that we are expending trying to solve a problem that's got us frustrated. So when you can grab for something, and I mean, there's toys all over this desk, and sometimes when the cats are up here, they're moving stuff around. Now, we also keep Elmo up here. Elmo is actually for my great niece. She loves Elmo. She always asks me about him because we do video calls. So there's always toys around, and some of them are even seasonal, like my little Rudolph with his little Santa Claus outfit. And I've always done that. So when would you actually, when you're working, when would you actually use one of the toys on your desk? One of the best places that I have found in a process is when I'm trying to design something. I'm trying to find an outline for a product. I'm trying to write something. Maybe it's an ebook, something that will have a form. And my mind is wandering. So I pick up a toy and I get my focus on the toy. My mind settles down. And then I can do what I need to do in the design phase. Another place that it really helps to have something to play with, especially if it's a pen, is if you have writer's block. Now, writer's block is caused by a number of things, usually a deadline for me. If I have a tight deadline, I struggle a little bit more with writer's block. So you can always pick up something, whether you can throw it across the room, whether you can throw it up against the wall that you're close to, whether you can just take you back in a memory. I honestly do not know where this ball came from. It's cute. I have no idea where it came from. There's a yo-yo here. So as I start to get my mind distracted, sometimes I reach for one that actually has a function. It has a 2-ended highlighter. Another place that this is really a good thing to do, grab a toy, grab a tool. If I'm trying to repair something around the house, I don't know if you do that or if you hire it out. I like to personally do my repairs. I enjoy that. How about software problem? I know this piece of software should do X, but I can't figure out what's the search term so I can find something to Google and I can pick up something and I can start to play with it and I think, oh, yeah, when we were looking around, this is what we actually used for a term, and that's one that I can use to fix this. Then I can do my search and end up with the answer to the question that I have. So even formulating a question, my mind sometimes needs some distraction to help me. So another time that you might want to settle down a little bit, play with a toy on your desk and not say anything, is if you've got an issue in a relationship. Gives us a different perspective, brings us back when times were a little bit simpler, and keeps us from saying something that's going to make the situation worse. So I don't know about you, and I really am interested. Do you have toys on your desk? Put a picture in the comments if you do, because I'd love to see. This one's a crazy one, little rubber ducky. I don't even know where he came from either. Huh. He's got a name on the bottom. There's a turtle. I mean, there's some crazy things here. There's an egg timer here. I think at one point this actually had a function on the desk. One of my little elephants. Happen to collect elephants. There's elephants all over this desk. Just different things. I'm trying to figure out where this one came from because it's like a doe and a fawn. I don't know. There's a story behind those, I'm quite sure. What kind of toys are on your desk? And if you don't use toys, how do you actually give your brain a nudge? Take a couple of minutes, maybe take a photograph of your desk or a toy or maybe somebody you talk to, place that you go. Sometimes people just go for a walk. Depending on where you live, that's a really great relief mechanism. But I really am interested in knowing what kind of stuff is within reach that helps you, you notice I like the movement, get rid of that gridlock that slows us down when we're going to a particular problem we haven't let go of the stuff that didn't work. I think that's really what causes that gridlock. Getting those distractions from something with movement, something visual, something that brings back a memory will trigger your ability to let that memory or let that mental block go. A memory is a great jogger. Like I said, I really am interested whether you watch this in the replay, whether you're watching it live right now. If you are, I appreciate you very much. Just let me know what you think about having toys on your desk. And if you would say, oh gosh, I could never do that, I would never get any work done, you might be surprised. You can always set a timer on yourself. Set a timer on your cell phone so that you don't wait very long. Just play and then get back to work. So again, thank you so much for joining me with this live today. Still trying to get used to some of the things that we're doing. Let me hear from you and have a great day.